Pedro Ferreira. Welcome to the Resolution and recordproduction.com interview.
Cheers.
Most people know you as the producer of the Darkness multi-platinum album Permission to Land, but you started recording live bands in Portugal, so how did you get from there to 4 million album sales?
Well, just by, just keep doing it. I just, it was I think 10 years between that and the other. So I started back in Portugal with my little mobile studio, just going to people's garages and record them like that. Portugal was very prolific in bands back then. Loads of rock and punk bands. So yeah, just kept doing it. I was really enjoying doing it.
And what made you come to the UK?
Well, Portugal is a very tiny place.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult. There's an industry there, but it's very, very small. And and obviously, you have to go where the rock is.
Yeah.
Here I am. Yeah.
So you ended up at Rondor Music, I think.
Yeah, I've been. I started when I moved here. I went through a school called Media Productions Facilities. It was kind of my English was really poor back then, so it's my kind of way of coming into London. Then I worked in a few studios, as a tape op and assistant, and yeah, ended up in Rondo after a few years. Yeah.
Did you find that working for a publisher, as in a sort of in-house studio situation, I mean, in a way there's a bit more freedom than working as an assistant in a big facility?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I literally was engineering bands, 7 days a week almost, for 4 years. I worked at Rondo, and Rondo was, back then it was the biggest kind of independent publishing company, and they were turning around loads and loads of bands, from rock to R&B to everything. It's just like so back down in the studio we could record everything, just mix everything. It's just brilliant. Yeah.
Was it an analog room, or
we had both. We had an analog studio and a digital studio. Yeah.
Because I've heard that you have a great love of the analog recording
absolutely,
process.
Yeah, absolutely. I always go through tape and vintage gear together, combined with Pro Tools. I think I'm a big lover of the two together, to be honest with you. I just think that it's the best way to operate it nowadays. Yeah.
Do you do a lot of pre-production with the younger bands you work with?
Yeah, with all the bands. Therapy, I did the same. It's just I like to spend quite a bit of time in a rehearsal room with the bands, working on arrangements, tempos. I go through pretty much everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, therapy is interesting because people thought they'd split up or something until you did.
They're still going hard.
Therapy's album, and if the Darkness are challenging to make the vocal cut through, I think Therapy must be even more. So I mean,
absolutely. Yeah.
And on that, there's a track called, is it Sprung?
Sprung,
yeah. Right?
Yeah, that's
it's got all these. I mean, the guitars are just complete buzzsaw in your ear, and still you hear the vocal. I mean, it's got some sort of special effect on it, hasn't it?
Well, not space echo.
No, but it's some kind of flanging or something.
Didn't use any kind of special trickery like that at all. I just double tracked it, used a space echo on the 21176s, and that's it.
It's a Roland space echo on the vocal, is it? Yeah, because it has this very, very odd sound. It's right in the centre, and the Therapy are a real insider rock band.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, is that where you're going with?
I really, really enjoyed doing Therapy. It was a great experience. Andy, all in the band, we kind of liked the same kind of music, so it was very, very exciting times. Don't mind doing bands like that at all.
Right. And that's the most recent one you've done.
That's the latest album I've done.
And before that was Tokyo Dragons.
I've done the Tokyo Dragons. That's a bit more kind of 70s rock, full on. Yeah.
Full on. There's almost. I mean, I mentioned free earlier, and that kind of springs to mind when you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
That is what are your influences when you approach a band like that? Who, I mean, they're young guys. Probably their dads were listening to free. Maybe, you know. I mean, so
Well, I think it's very important for a producer to try to understand what the band is trying to transmit, and that's part of the work that we do in pre-production is it's me trying to understand what they're trying to do and then give my input. But obviously, I really like the rock music that they're doing.
Yeah.
So we had a tremendous time as well. Yeah.
But it's interesting to me that I mean, when you work with these guys, you are bringing out something to, and I have, I've got friends who are in bands like that, and when they listen to something like Tokyo Dragons, that's what they want to do.
It's a funny thing because that's what a lot of bands want to do. Seems like everyone really likes it. It's like the Tokyo Dragons are finding very difficult to sell. So.
But when Bob Rock produces Metallica, that's not. I mean, that's not what he's doing with them. I mean, that's kind of interesting to me because.
Well, I think Bob Rock, he was very clever when he did the Black Album. The way he tried to use that thrash sound and tried to put a bit more rock on it. So he did it very well.
If you listen to again, it was interesting to me from a vocal point of view because, I mean, the darkness there, you've got all kinds of little intricate slap back echoes on the vocals, and very suitable for the kind of thing that he's doing. All the references they make in the music, it's perfect. But then for Tokyo Dragons, the vocal is like there.
Well, like I said, I really like to hear the band and try to adapt. I'm not a strong believer that a producer should have a sound, and I really like to understand what the band is trying to do, and try to get my imagination going from there. I really like going back to the therapy. Was the first night I spent with them. It was great because we had a few beers and we just start playing some records and and straight away a picture of that record start being creative in my head and and that's what I do. I really find that very important. I don't believe in trying to impose my way too much to the band. Obviously there's things, there's guidance, there's opinions that I'll give to a band, and but in general I don't like to impose a sound on them.
It's difficult.
Obviously, everyone's got a sound, and you listen to the records that I do, and you just mentioned the guitars and everything else. I guess you could say that that's my sound, but I'm really trying to capture what the band has to offer, really.
You are a band guy, aren't you? I mean,
absolutely,
Have the bands been coming to you, or is it more the labels that have come to you?
It's mainly the bands, The Therapy apparently was them that chose
that was their 11th album, I think.
It is, yeah.
So, I mean, that's a challenge as well.
It certainly is,
And, they've got a good fan base. They don't want to disappoint them, but